The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the new channel. This is, well, we were born out of passion. We're a community that helps you be the new you. My name is Mras, and I'm live streaming from the beautiful mountains of Colorado, United States of America. And you're watching Mental Shift, Season 4, Episode 54, Season Finale. Good evening to the United States and to the Philippines. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. My guest tonight is a business consultant, speaker, trainer, and 3-time best-selling author. She assists women entrepreneurs to grow their businesses with ease and grace. She is the host of A Seat at the Table, the Feminine Voice of Leadership podcast, and the creator of the 6-week course, Create Consistent Income Blueprint. Please welcome my guest tonight and my final guest for Season 4, Pat Alva-Kraker.
Hello. Well, hello from Texas. It's a pleasure to be here, Michelle. I'm so excited to be a part of your community, and your message is so powerful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we have something in common. We're all about lifting women up and bringing them to a new level so they remember who they really are.
Yes.
And that's why when I saw your bio, I'm like, okay, we need to get Pat on. We need to talk before my season's over, because I'm going to be on hiatus for a little bit while I finish my dissertation. So we're going to be a bit busy on my side. I'm like, we've got to finish strong with a strong woman. So here we are.
Thank you.
Such
a pleasure.
The show is called Mental Shift. And what I want to ask you now is, we'll start it off strong. What did you do before? And what mental shift was the catalyst for you to do what you do now with the women and the getting out of your own way, basically? What brought you here?
Working in a male-dominated field with IBM and Lockheed Martin. What I learned is that women didn't have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And it got me freaking mad. I said, what are we going to do about this? This is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
To have so many talented women in a company and not have them be in management or in roles of influence, really making an impact from the feminine side, from the leadership side. And I said, how are we going to change this? And I just took the initiative and said, ladies, we need to get together and start having conversations about how we're going to help each other elevate, move up, get positions of influence, be seen as leaders, and have a seat at the table going forward. And that's where I started mentoring women in order to make a difference.
All right. Enough is basically what happened.
Enough is enough.
So tell us a little bit more about your podcast, because I mean, do you have guests on? And I mean, tell us more about your podcast.
Right. Thank you so much for asking that question. Yes, a seat at the table, the feminine voice of leadership, is about those conversations on the different skill sets that women need to have when they get their seat at the table. Because once we sit there, there's a certain level of presence of who we are that needs to show up. And there's skill sets such as negotiation, such as connecting with mind, body, and soul, and the spiritual aspect of who you are that really needs to show up in order to be the leader that you're meant to be. So the conversations are deep conversations. It's conversations about the bottom of the iceberg. And I do bring different subject matter experts on different topics. And it all aligns really a lot with what you're doing, is elevating women and helping them really become a stronger being and tap into all of who they are.
Nice. You need to have me on as a guest.
Absolutely. You're invited.
Nothing
There
like
we go.
I'm going to be off for a while. I can be on. I can guest.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, her podcast is called A Seat at the Table, the Feminine Voice of Leadership podcast. Okay, so you can find her on every platform.
Every platform.
Okay, well, you need to look her up, everybody, and we'll put it in the chat. A
Mhm.
Seat at the Table, the Feminine Voice of Leadership podcast. So you can find it and you can listen to her from no matter where you are in the world, right?
Yes. This will
Now-
launch in March, the latter part of March. So yes.
Okay. And then the other thing you created was the 6-week course that you created. You
Mhm.
did that in conjunction so that you can help women elevate, right?
Mhm.
Now-
Yes, I did. Yeah, exactly. It's creating consistent income blueprint. So what I find in coaching women entrepreneurs who have service-based businesses is that they experience peaks and valleys of income.
Mhm.
And you know that only 1% of all women entrepreneurs actually make 6 figures,
Yeah.
7 figures. And that's another one like that. Enough is enough. And why is that? Why is it? And it's because we don't have a business model that allows us to consistently bring in money every month. And so many times we're in feast and famine, and there's a way to get around that. So my course talks about the who, not the how, of creating the business.
Oh,
It's who really who is your really ideal client? Because with the pandemic, things have changed. They have shifted, and so the who of your ideal client may have changed. And being very clear on who that who is, so that you're consistently marketing and connecting with that client, and the who of the how. What I mean by that is, you and I know, Michelle, that we can't do it alone. That we need a team, a community to help us be successful in our business. And as a CEO, when we wear that hat, it should be looking for who are the people that are connected to the communities that we need to be connected to, that are influential in the communities we should be in. Who are the JV partners, the joint venture partners that we should be partnering with? And who are the team members that are the experts to do the things that we're spending our time doing that are not in our zone of genius?
yeah, you're talking my language.
Yeah.
I was like, surround yourself with an amazing team that strengthens on the sides that you are less in, and you
Absolutely.
balance them. We're all just together, working together in order to elevate. And then I really love that consistent income blueprint, because that's what I was finding with all my clients. It's like, okay, I don't deal with money. I talk about mindset, but how are you making money? How are you making this repeatable? Everything must be repeatable and something you can measure so you can move it up a notch every time you want to move up a notch.
Yeah.
And so, yes, that's powerful. Okay, so keep that in mind, everybody. She's got the Create Consistent Income Blueprint. Now, how can people just generally find you? Do you have a website that's handy?
I do. Yes, it's majesticcoachinggroup.com.
Okay, Majestic.
Majestic
Coaching.
Coaching
There it
Group.
is.
Oh, there it is.
It's
Yes,
right
come
below.
visit me.
Yes,
Yeah.
my team behind me takes care of me. They make me look really,
love
really
you.
good.
Yeah. That's what you need.
So we have, so much to talk about because we do have a lot in common. But I know you said something earlier, and I'm kind of curious because I think it'll set off a lot of conversation. You created cards. Can you tell me more about those?
Yes, I created a deck of cards that goes with my book called Catherine's Quest: One Woman's Journey to Elation. And these cards amplify different principles, affirmations that we could live by, that make us stronger leaders, that help us lead ourselves better, help us with resilience. And they are associated with every single chapter. So every chapter in the book has a different focus on what it takes to be a resilient leader and how to better lead yourself. And so we can just pick a card and see what we get. Are you ready?
Yes, I want to pick a card. Let's discuss the card thing. And then in the second half, we're going to go deep dive into your book.
So the card, I must willingly let go of what life was to prepare me for what lies ahead. I must be willingly let go of what life was to prepare me for what lies ahead. So as we need to be able to release and let go so that we have space for what is meant for us to receive. Because so many times we hold on to the past with, man, I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have done that. I regret doing this. And so we hold on to the energy of that thought, and it takes space in our energy physically and mentally. And so we don't have room to allow the space for something new to come in because we're holding on to a lesson that we just need to take in and let go.
Yes, we hold on to the woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Yeah.
And, that's a lot of my story. Is a lot of my growth came from not because I wasn't growing, it was because I wasn't letting go of my past. And then once I realized that my past didn't define me, they were amplifying me to the next level. And so for those of you who are watching right now and you're thinking, I'm going through a lot right now. Good. It's a process. Go through it. Learn from it. And as I love to say, embrace that toddler mindset in you. We're meant to fall. That's how we grow. So fall, get up, learn, get up, fall, get up, and just keep getting up until you can't get up anymore. Just keep going. And when you can't get up, that's when the life is over and our journey's over. So you always get up. So that card is actually huge because it's the whole basis of my coaching, my speaking, and everything I do is bad things happen. Yes. But good things come out of bad things if you allow them to pass through you. And so, Pat, I don't know if you know my background, but I have a brain injury. I'm missing 4 areas of my brain. I'm in the middle of a breast cancer journey, and there's just so much that I could hold on to.
Oh, absolutely.
Could. But what happens is I take the lessons from each of these things and I've transformed myself into a whole nother human, not another human, the human I was always meant to be that I never allowed myself to be. Each trial brings you up another notch of knowing more about you so you can be the best version of you. And as Pat does, she's condensed this into a book that we'll talk in the later half. So if you want to learn more about it, you got to wait for the second half. She's condensed it so that you can see you in her story.
Yes.
Now, this is huge because so many of us are so in our heads that we think, well, that can't happen. That I don't relate to that. Oh, that person's special. And oh, that person does. This is a story that you can relate yourself into each chapter. We are all human. We all experience things. And so hold on for the end. Okay. So now we're going to go back to Pat. We're going to discuss more about that card. So, Pat,
Yes, exactly. So I, like you, I'm a breast cancer thriver of 26 years.
I want to catch up to you.
Come on, girl. And that event was life changing,
Mhm.
because he asked me where did I make those pivots and where did those lessons come? And that was one of them. And at the time, I was working for IBM, and I was traveling 80% of the time. I was helping my husband run a exotic animal ranch, and supporting my immediate family. And there came a point where, I was pretty much the last on the list. And what I learned is that I had to put myself on the top of the list. In studying the spiritual aspect of what is it that is associated with breast cancer. Louise Hay, in her books, she says that breast cancer is associated with overgiving, and I was definitely an overgiver,
Mhm.
there to solve my siblings problems. I was involved in the community solving those problems, overgiving at work. And it was very obvious that something needed to change and to make that shift. And I began to really go within and study myself, started journaling. I went into the study of alternative medicine.
Mhm.
I ended up becoming a Reiki and polarity master's, and studied aromatherapy, and just said, I'm going to heal myself. You're teaching me a lesson here. I need to adjust my life, and I'm going to take responsibility for my health, and this is how I'm going to do it. So it's an amazing journey, isn't it?
It is. You're like my soul sister that I didn't even know I had. I did the same thing. I started looking inside. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
I give, give, give. And we hear women say that, oh, I'm filling everybody else's cup, and then they forget to fill their own. And then I realized I'm not even filling my pitcher.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I giving so much? And we
Mhm.
pour and we pour. And that is huge. And I did the same thing. I had this analogy. When you get cut and you put a Band-Aid on it, what heals it? It's not the Band-Aid,
No, it's
it's your
you.
body.
Yeah.
And so I figured, the same thing with my brain injury and my breast cancer and all of this. It was like I was toxic to myself, and that I needed to find what was making me truly tick, and why did I feel the necessity to neglect me while
Mhm.
giving everyone else adulation. I mean, I
Yeah.
I would throw myself in front of a bus before I would
Yeah.
ever help me. I would do everybody else but me. And I remember getting that diagnosis of breast cancer and thinking, if I die, did I ever live?
That's an important question.
And it threw me. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't eating right. I didn't sleep. I didn't have fun. I didn't have any balance in my life. I was so busy giving that I never even looked at me. And so I focused on me. And from that journey, I learned mind, body, and soul, they weren't separate. They were one. And in
Mhm.
order to get my brain to work well, I had to eat right and get the right vitamins in. Well, to get that cancer to go away, it didn't like an alkaline body. How did I alkaline myself? And so I got into the oils, and my friends were doing Reiki on me. And so
Yeah.
I was changing my energy pattern so I could heal my body from within, because I knew the Band-Aid was a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And so I went that way. And then when I went through the health journey and the journey, I realized it was my spirit that I also was lacking. I
Mhm.
believed that I was alone in the world, that there was no higher power. And then when I started learning more about what made our body really tick and how my mindset was bringing everything in, I'm like, mind, body, soul. I need to learn how to calm my nerves and shift my energy and keep myself away from people who are bringing more negativity into me. I became a far happier person in the middle of my cancer journey than I'd ever been in the other 40 something years of my life.
Yeah.
And it ignited me to want to be a coach and share that knowledge with other people so that they could live this vibrant life. People probably do the same thing with you. They look at you and, why are you so happy? You did this, you went through this. I'm happy because I know who I am. I'm thankful for every breath I take and for every interaction that I have. And so, I'm so excited that you came on my show and that you said, "Hey, Michelle, hey, talk to me."
And really, we both learn and made the decision that we are at choice.
Oh, we are major
That
shift.
we are at choice, and there are so many women that we work with, that we support, that we coach, that feel they have no choices.
Mhm.
And it's important to know that we are always a choice. And in everything that we do, we have a choice to be happy or not, right?
Yes, we
We
have
have
a
a choice to
choice.
be wealthy or not, and healthy or not. We have a choice to be in love or not. It's all a choice.
Everything is a choice, and it's a
Everything.
choice to be miserable or find
Mhm.
joy in your moment.
Yeah.
And my friend is in the thread writing. Her name is Helene. She's my chemo buddy from CB4. It's a CB4 Life. It's Chemo Buddies for Life group, and
Oh,
I
I
met
love
her
that.
there. And so she's one of my biggest supporters. But she's my chemo buddy. So when we go through our big changes or our doctor appointments, she talks to me and I talk to her, and it's really a neat experience to have someone in the journey with you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so from that journey with cancer, I realized just, like you found too, everyone needs a buddy
Mhm.
through life that they can say, "Hey, I need to get this off my chest. I need to relinquish this so you can talk to me and help me work it through." And that's what
Yeah.
coaching does. We
Mhm.
don't necessarily advise. We kind of listen until you figure it out yourself, because all of our answers are in us. Everything we want and everything we need is already there
Absolutely.
if you
And
allow it.
it's the power of questions. Don't you agree, Michelle?
Oh,
It's knowing what to ask yourself, because once you start having that group of questions that guide you every day, your life changes, and you start to realize that if I ask the right question, I'll get the right answer, and I will evolve and be a better version of myself every single day.
yes.
Every single day.
Or as I say, be
Absolutely.
the best version of you every day. And if you're not, do something to do it.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube and find it, get a book and read it. I don't care what you need to do. It's your choice. Make the
Mhm.
decision,
Mhm.
grow.
Yes, absolutely. And we have that choice every day. So, one of the practices that I uh, integrated into my life was that, and I talk about this in the book, is unraveling, the
Mhm.
practice of unraveling. So, at the end of my day, what I do is I just, you know, and it's before I go to bed, it's really the best time for me to process this, is I just look at my day like felt like it was a movie. And I look at every single instance from the morning that I got up until I'm about to go to sleep. And I evaluate and analyze every conversation, every meeting, the effort that I took in any creative project. And I ask myself, what went right about this meeting and why? If this didn't meeting go as well as I had planned, why didn't it go that well? What will I change so that tomorrow I implement lessons from today's day, right?
Exactly.
And I implement the things that went right. I tweak what didn't go right, learn from it, and then I'm a better version every single day. And that's my process to do that.
That's awesome. I mean, I do a mini version of that at night, but most of my process happens in the morning. So in the
Ah,
morning, I assess. It's almost like I project what
mhm,
I'm expecting from the day, how I plan on reacting to that. If this happens, it's like A/B testing. If
yeah,
this happens, this is how this is the different
mhm,
versions of my reaction. If this happens, I think it's the engineer in me. My
mhm,
background's in engineering. Is I have a plan for pretty much everything, and people are like, "How do you do that?" Use your imagination. I'm going down the street. There's a fork in the road. There's a rock in the left side that's too big for me to go around. Do I want to turn right or do I want to struggle going over the rock? Yeah, I
mhm,
think I'll take the right side instead. And it's those are the kind of things we do is basically figuring out what you will do during your day. You know what's happening in that day. I
mhm.
see it. I see what's going to happen, who I'm meeting, all this stuff. And I go into every meeting with, I already met you.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I do the same with that you do. I quickly assess how could I have approached that differently?
Mhm.
And that is what growth pattern does. That's what people in our mindset and our level of attitude do. We don't react. We we
Respond.
we know. We already know how we're going to respond. And
Mhm.
that way we choose our response. So many people walk willy-nilly through life, and then they get surprised when something happens. You're like, wait a minute, you've been talking to Billy Bob for 5 years. Billy Bob's gonna say that to you. Why are you surprised?
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. Anticipate the answer that they're going to say. Don't be surprised if it's not what you like, that kind of thing. It's a
Mhm.
In my mind, it's very simple. but I,
Well, yeah.
but
And it's self-awareness, right? It's being self-aware.
yes. Are you aware of Byron Katie?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, Byron Katie's my hero.
Yeah.
And it's what she has, that quote: there's three types of business in the world. There's my business, the other person's business, and God and the universe's business. When
Mhm.
you feel like you're out of control, you either control yourself, which is your business, because if you're out of control and you can't control it, it means you're trying to control other people's business. Get out of that and control how you respond. It's
Mhm.
huge.
Mhm. It is very huge because it empowers you when you're operating from that response, right? When you're responding versus reacting, and you're taking that deep breath when you have to give come in within and find that answer of within here, your heart, as to what the next action should be. And when, like you say, when that you've already thought through
Mhm.
as to how you're going to react if A happens versus B happens. So yeah, awareness,
Awareness. And
awareness.
and your whole mental shift started in a boardroom doing, why are we not stepping up? And that
Mhm.
was another awareness that brought your whole mental shift.
Mhm.
Why do things happen when we don't like it? We don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You stepped out of your comfort zone and took an action.
Mhm.
And then you didn't just say, I'm just going to jump out and figure out what I'm. No, you said, I'm going to take action. Let me start moving towards what I want to see, create. And then you saw it,
Mhm.
and then you created it.
Absolutely. And we are very creative beings, aren't we?
We are. And
It's in us.
what I want to share with the audience is Pat and I aren't too special, okay? We just figured it out, and that's why we share with our
Mhm.
communities what we've done. You can do it too.
Mhm.
It's called
Absolutely.
self-awareness. Find a coach that can guide you through. And if Pat is resonating with you right now, make sure you reach out to her website. And if my back office can please put her website back on, and then they can find you. Do you have a calendar link or anything like that that they can schedule?
Yeah,
Or
there is a box where they can send. There's a link that says "Contact me," and then we can have a conversation.
okay, so say your website out loud.
It's www.majesticcoachinggroup.com.
And they put it under us. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yay! Thank you so much. Yes, I'd love to be able to have conversations on anything that we're talking about here in regards to resilience, because you and I are women of resilience, right? We encountered a situation, we took a step back, a pause, if you will, and we're very mindful of the next steps that we felt we needed to take.
Exactly. And that you spoke about women of resilience. I have a book called Hold My Crown, Women of Grit, share stories of resilience.
Hmm.
I did it because I met women from every country I've been to, really, and I gathered their stories and put them in one book, because there's so many people I've met who do, well, you don't understand because you didn't go through that, or you don't understand, or I can't relate to you because I put everybody in. And what we do about that is we're examples from every state of womanhood that I could find. And the book isn't ending. It's almost like chicken soup for the soul. There'll be a Hold My Crown 1, 2, 3, whatever. It's going to keep growing because stories are never ending. And that's why I find I always when I meet authors like you, I'm completely fascinated, because we are the new cave drawings. I mean, we are what's
Yeah.
capturing what's happening in our time zone, in our time in this planet, and for the future to discover and learn from. So gather as many stories, or in your case, create stories that can help people make it through whatever difficulty they're going through. Now, I have to go to commercial. And when we come back from commercial, we're going to go deeper into Pat's book. And Her book is called Catherine's Quest, One Woman's Journey to Elation. So stand by. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. My name is Michelle Mras, and you are watching Mental Shift. Now, we are bringing up our commercials, so you know that TNC is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go. So please watch all of our shows as seen on the screen. Now, imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we at TNC make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our reviewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our vision is to become a global 24/7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Watch Mental Shift, as you're doing right now, on replay via Facebook or YouTube. And I would say live on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, but I'm taking a hiatus break to concentrate on my doctoral dissertation. So I'll be back after July. Also, follow TNC on Instagram and listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You just need to search hashtag TNCNow, TNCNow. And for sponsorships, please email now@thenewchannel.com or send a direct message straight to the new channel. So enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them just for you. And welcome back. And we have my guest tonight is Pat Alva-Kraker, and she is a coach and, oh my goodness, a speaker, a trainer, a 3-time best-selling author. And she helps women entrepreneurs grow their businesses with ease and grace and helps them make money at it too. So please welcome back, Pat. Yeah,
So our conversation is so fascinating about awareness and that we're always at choice. And I love that we are actually we're able to connect on the common thread that really multiple common threads, our journey through breast cancer
yeah.
and how it's affected our ability to make a difference in the world and really helped us grow as an individual and as a woman and how we've taken that forward. So I really have an appreciation of how we're able to connect at that level because it helps us when you and I talk about it, right? We heal at a different level when you and I talk.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I mean, you've experienced it too, where people do, oh, I'm so sorry you had breast cancer. And I do, don't be. It made me wake up that I
Mm,
wasn't truly living the purpose-driven life that I thought I was.
yeah.
And so sometimes, unfortunately, it's tragedy that makes us wake up. And those of us who are fortunate enough to wake up before it's too late, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
And so that's why we both make it our mission to help women grow, be, accept who you are, and be the best version of ourselves each day because it's a choice. And no one wants to be on their deathbed doing, I wish I.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get into your book because it sounds really, really exciting. So, Pat wrote a book called Catherine's Quest: One Woman's Journey to Elation. And we're going to put a big copy of it so you can all see the copy. Where do you put it up, the picture? And where can they get this book?
They can actually go to my website, www.majesticcoachinggroup.com, and buy the book, the journal that comes with it, and also the affirmation cards that come with the book as a set from my website only. And it's a perfect gift, right, for Mother's Day, for graduations, for bridesmaids, you name it, administration, Secretary Day's coming up. So it's a
Okay.
perfect gift for a professional woman.
March is Women's History Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the book is launching in March because of that. Now,
Mhm.
if you could put the image of her book up so people can see the cover and they can go to her website and look for it, that would be awesome. While we discuss the very beginnings of why she wrote the book and the format she wrote it in. So, where's my back office? Where are you? Where I can't see you. There you are. Thank you for bringing the book up.
Yeah, there you go.
Catherine's Quest: One Woman's Journey to Elation. Now, Pat, when you wrote this is not like how I write, where I say, I went through this. How did you write this book? It's very special.
It is. Catherine's Quest is about a strong woman who loses everything. She loses her marriage, her career, her home. And just like many women that you and I know, we've lost our health. Part of me is part of Catherine's Quest because I did uh, lose my career and my husband passed away and I had to sell my property. And it's about how women who experience loss,
Mhm.
the strength within them that it takes to actually come out on the other side a stronger woman. So it's a fable, and in there are spiritual practices that I used in healing myself from cancer.
Mhm.
They're practices that I use to become a strong leader, to self-lead myself. And I just took all the years of experience from being a professional, from my cancer journey, from my husband dying an early death. And I said, what did it take for me to actually pull myself on the bootstraps? And I'm going to wrap all these lessons around a fable about a strong woman who has the resilience to pick herself up on the bootstraps. And within each chapter, there are reflective questions. There are practices regarding self-care, how to live with intention, how to be aware, how to unravel your day.
Mhm.
And it's a short book. It's only 90 pages. But from by the time you finish ending the book, and if you go through the exercises, you're a different woman.
No,
You
I,
will
I
see the
the
storm.
thing is in the world that we live in, and if anyone going through any kind of stress that you're speaking about, we don't have time to read a 500-page book. Make it short, make it simple, make it easy to follow and get through. And that's why I was excited about when you have the cards, because when in doubt, you pull those cards out, and the universe has a funny way of guiding you. I mean, I do that where I'm having a stressful day and I'll just pick up a book, whatever
Mhm.
catches my eye, and I'll open it. And
Yeah.
boom, it's exactly what I needed to hear. And so I think that with your cards, that'll be the same thing. They can
Mhm.
carry the cards in their bag, their
Yes.
backpack, their purse, whatever, and do, you know what? I need something. And I
Mhm.
promise you the universe will have you pull the card you needed to hear
Yeah,
and work through.
absolutely. It
Yeah.
is so true. So we're going to pull another one right now.
Yes.
And this is I live wide-eyed. I live wide-eyed. So what does that mean to you when you hear that?
It's how I live every day. But I live wide-eyed. Well, I have two different meanings.
Okay.
I see every day as a gift.
Mhm.
And that I also believe that life is dessert. So everything about it is meant to be savored and loved and enjoyed. So I'm one of those people who walk outside and I will stop and I will just feel the breeze on my skin.
Mhm.
And I will listen to the leaves in the trees and I'll watch a squirrel run up a tree. I mean,
It's
I live wide eyed as a child sees the world.
yes.
I look at it in wonderment and I embrace the fact that I have the blessing to be in it.
Yeah, it's true. And I love that comment is that we live wide-eyed as children, and as we become adults, we lose that. Exactly. Society, family, culture, company culture, religion, whatever it is, they start changing us, and we end up putting this filter that where we see less than, and we don't see, like you say, all the beauty and nature that's just around us. So yes, wide-eyed is I see it the same way that you do, is living fully and
Yes.
enjoying life through all the senses.
Well, and I giggled because that wide-eyed idea. I mean, people call me Betty Boop, and I'm Miss. John Maxwell calls me Sunshine. My thing is, my best example I can say is it's raining outside, and people do. Ugh,
Yeah.
it's raining outside. Oh, it's a miserable day, and I'm like, it's raining outside. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go play in some puddles.
exactly. I love it. I love the smell of rain.
Yeah.
I love it and the sound. Yeah, yeah,
And so
such
I
appreciation.
always giggle when people act like the weather happened because or for against them. And I'm like, yeah, God's like they're doing, wait, wait, wait. Pat's having a bad day. Let it rain on her instead. No one's doing that. And so I giggle when people take outside forces. Remember, three business types of business: mine,
Yeah,
the other person's, and God's, and takes it on to themselves and then makes themselves miserable.
yeah.
That's the whole wide-eyed thing for me. It's more than you.
Mhm.
The world has so many more beautiful people in it, and enjoy the fact that you have rain. For us in Colorado, rain is good and snow is good.
Yeah,
Why? Because we have a lot of fires. We want as much moisture. So you see the good in the things that you think are bad,
mhm.
wide-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
So what do you see with the wide-eyed?
Well, definitely is taking in life from those five senses, because what I've noticed is that when we take in life from the five senses, the sixth sense
Amplifies.
pops in.
Mhm.
We amplify that sixth sense within us when we become aware of all the five senses around us. And wide-eyed to me means you're taking everything in, you're looking at the things that you're looking up, because a lot of people walk and they never look up, or people walk and never look down. And so there's so much to see, and we're missing it when we're have this vision, a narrow vision of life versus being able to just take it all in and be mindful of the things that we don't normally hear or normally see, or see from the side of, our side views. It's just really being more perceptive and aware of all our surroundings.
Yes, slow down. I mean,
Yeah,
as
that's
busy
what
as
it
busy
takes.
as I am, I slow down a lot. And I do stop when someone says, have a good day. I do, thank you, you too. Or how are you? I actually stop and tell them how I am. And I do, so how are you? And it's kind of like, you talking to me? You know? It's like, no, I'm answering you because you asked.
Exactly.
And
Right, because
so,
what do most people say?
eh,
Fine. I'm okay.
no, I really want to know. How are you? Yeah. Now, oh, no, Helene, you cannot have M&Ms. I cannot mail them to Texas. And Texas is about to have ice and snow, she says.
We are
Again,
tomorrow. Yeah.
I was there for that last storm where you had 3 inches of ice on everything in Dallas.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Last February. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the one who they said I brought it in from Colorado because it was snowing in Colorado.
They blamed you.
Yeah. And I said, well, if I'm that powerful, gee, let's see what else I can
What else would they
manifest.
do, right? Yeah.
If I'm that all powerful, then let's bring something. And I don't know. I love the idea of your cards and that each is the deck like split up between the each chapter. I mean, are the cards color coded for each chapter or
They are, there's a certain picture within each chapter. So the book, when Catherine loses everything, she has to move out of her house. So she starts packing her home and she goes up to the attic and she finds this journal that belongs to her favorite uncle, Iman. And her favorite uncle was on a quest for elation. And he had been given the message that if you visit these 7 islands, by the time you get to island 8, you will reach the island of elation. And in that process, you will visit an island that amplifies different values and different characteristics of what it is to live a life of elation. And so every chapter that amplifies self-care, it amplifies joy, awareness. The cards are taken segments of the messages of each chapter and remind you of what that chapter was all about.
I love it.
So the one that I picked up now is All is Well in My Soul. All is well in my soul. So like you mentioned earlier, that life is a mind, body, and soul experience. It's a mind, body, and soul experience, and it really begins in the soul. And when our soul and our heart and our mind are aligned, then it's very easy to make decisions that please us, that are in alignment with who we really are and what we value.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to be able to tap into that part of you and tap in and say, what does my soul want? What does my heart want?
And I'm a big believer in it's part of my practice. I mean, I'm really fast at it now, but I wake up before I even get out of bed and open my eyes. I stretch and then I become. That's only like I go into me and I just take a deep breath and I can feel it just rush through my body, this warmth. And it's that becoming that many people don't focus on. And I think I really discovered it through yoga, is that
Yeah.
deep breathing and just centering yourself. And people are like, oh, that's woo-woo. Well, it's necessary.
Yes.
It's
necessary.
it's very necessary. And for when you meet people who are very at peace, and when people meet me, they do, you're really hyper and happy, but there's something very peaceful about you. It's that. It's that. And so go find your peaceful spot. Go find your mind, body, and soul. Align yourself. Find the people, as Pat said earlier, align yourself with the people in your world that will balance you out and help you grow as a person. Because as you grow mentally, physically, spiritually, there's this releasing of all the tension that the outside world brings to you. And then you can focus on the purpose that you really have and be the best version of you in that purpose.
Absolutely.
Oh, hello, Christy. Hello, Apple. Hello, Michael. Everyone's popping in now.
Joining us.
So if you are watching, I'm listening to you, and you're listening right now, share the live stream. Share the live stream.
Sure.
This is my final show of season 4. I won't be back for another 3 months as I work on my dissertation. So share this and let people know where we are. They can watch the replays, and they can watch all the replays of every mental shift I've had, because what I do is I bring amazing people just like Pat on my show, and they share their mental shift and how they give back to the world now. There's nothing but inspiration and motivation in every discussion we have. And tonight's has been absolutely magical. For my final show for the season, I'm really excited that I have you. I knew you'd be really fun to have, but what a wonderful conclusion to a season, and to start off a new season when I come back, to have you as my last show that I will peek at before I go on again.
So I really appreciate that. This book is just like I said, it's a very powerful book. And I'm going to pick another card and associate with this with, I am happy with who I am.
Dang, Skippy.
I am happy with who I am. We're always a choice, and we're always evolving, and we're always changing. And we're, like you and I talked earlier, is that we become through the trials and tribulations and the lessons and stubbing our toes and, our dis-ease. And in every step of the way, we become a stronger, more resilient person. And we get a choice as to how we look at ourselves from that point of view. So we have a choice every day to be happy, right?
Yes. And I mean, I wonder, one of the practices I did earlier in my life, I was very unhappy with myself. I couldn't pass a mirror without attacking myself for not being good enough. And everything shifted when I started appreciating what my body was doing for me. It carried 2 children. It's done so much. I've abused it, and it keeps going. I mean, I ate poorly, and it's still, all the things I did, and it kept going. And so I would thank my body for surviving and for thriving through all the abuse I gave it, and find something that you love about yourself every day.
Yes.
To the point when you get to the point where you do, you know what? I really like me. And it's not a bad thing to like yourself. Whatever childhood trauma thing you got in your head that it's bad to like yourself because it's conceited, no, you must love yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself so that you care for yourself. Love yourself like you care for everybody else, where you keep pouring into everybody else. Love yourself enough that you're willing to pour into your own cup.
Yeah. And it's so important, right? Like you say, if we don't fill our own cup, we can't help anybody else. So the book, Catherine's Quest: One Woman's Journey to Elation, I have a chapter on self-care.
Yes.
And how important it is to look at self-care from a mind, body, and soul perspective, and what we can do every day. The little simple things that we can do that take less than 5 minutes, right? It's like slowly enjoying that cup of tea. And just listening
every morning.
The spoon hit the cup, and the aroma of the tea. That's a beautiful self-care moment. It's, the way you put your PJs and how comfortable they feel, and your favorite pillow and how it feels good on those little moments of that. Staying in the car just 5 more minutes before you go into the house, just to kind of unwind yourself before you go in and start supporting family.
Yeah. Baby pampering moments. Do them all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, people do, oh, well, I'm so tired, I'm finally going to give myself a break. No, you should be doing them constantly.
Yeah.
You should put them throughout your day to recharge you. Now, we've got a couple of things for you, because Pat has a free gift for you. It's called Setting Boundaries to Create Your Ideal Life. And we'll put they're going to put the thread on it. It's a www.agiftfrompat. So A Gift from Pat, and they'll put, there it is right there underneath us. And it's a free gift. So you go there to A Gift from Pat, and you'll get Setting Boundaries to Create Your Ideal Life. No matter where in the world you are, you can get it. It's a PDF. Just get it. Okay.
Yes.
Because once you get that, you'll also have the website to reach back to Pat and say, you know what, this happened, or, I was questioning about that, and I just got your book and I was wondering. Reach to her, because you can learn so much from Pat. I mean, I learned so much from her, and we're aligned in what we teach. And I still learn from Pat tonight. And so that's the power of connecting with people that amplify you. Now, speaking of amplifying, I've got to do a plug real quick on myself. While I'm off working on the dissertation thing, I also have a company that travels across the United States, and we will be coming to Texas. I'm pretty sure. I think the next one is DC in March with my book launch. And then in April, I think we're coming right back to Texas, but it's called Amplifluence. And what we do with that, we amplify your influence. So we have a mover and shaker event where we bring all the movers and shakers of a town. So all the people who make decisions and have the parties and have the conferences, those people. And then we invite all the authors of the area. Now, the reason we do that is because authors are the scribes of what's happening in our world. So we bring them into that mover and shaker. Then we intermix them with the people they normally wouldn't mix with, because most authors are kind of quiet about their books. They write them and then they don't talk about them. So we mix them, and then we invite all the movers and shakers to the second day, which is an author event where the authors get to take the stage and talk about why they wrote the book and their purpose behind the book and how they want to help the world elevate with whatever kind of book they write. And then we do that so they can sell their books and talk about it. And then a week later, we bring it back to things like you do. Does an author, speaker, and coach make money? How do they get their ROI back from what they've been doing? How do they give back and make money back so they can keep doing what they're doing of giving back to the world? So that's what Amplifluence is about. And if they could put that in the chat, it's amplifluence.com. And if you go to it, it will have our logo on it. Yes, there it is. Thank you so much. And if you go there, it'll show you our upcoming dates of where we're going to be and how you can find us. Unfortunately, we're not going to the Philippines yet, or Pakistan, or India. I know a lot of my followers are there, and in Ireland, I believe. So we're not there yet, but if you sponsor us, we'll come out to you. Now, on that note, I wanted to say that because, Pat, you've been saying amplify through your book, amplify through your book, amplify. And I'm like, I need to get you to that next Amplifluence event, because
yes, absolutely. It'd be a pleasure. And one of the things that is in the book of Catherine's Quest is boundaries, and how important it is to set boundaries in our life, in our work, in the amount of information we take in, because when we set boundaries according to our values, we actually end up living our ideal life. And boundaries are so important.
They're important because usually when people are crossing them, those are the ones who are pulling the energy off of us.
Yeah.
And when you're exhausted and you're tired, it's because you're in the space where you're not happy. So we need to learn boundaries in order to protect who we truly are and our purpose in this planet, and whatever our quest is. And reach out to Pat Alva-Kraker. And that way you'll be able to amplify yourself through her teachings, through her book. I'm excited about the cards. It's like, I'm going to meet you in Texas. Bring me a book and cards. Okay.
Of course.
And the thing is we can always learn. There's never a time to stop learning. So, Pat, we are in our last 3 minutes of our show.
Yeah. Okay.
What words of wisdom would you like to share with the audience before we go?
Live your life through intention. It's really important that every day you're very mindful of how you live your day, and that you know that you're always a choice, and that a community is necessary in our life in order to be able to be successful, and that the boundaries make a difference in how we live our life, because they define who we are and how other people treat us. I invite you to buy my book, Catherine's Quest, One Woman's Journey to Elation, by going to my website, majesticcoachinggroup.com. It's been a pleasure, Michelle. Thank you. You've been a blessing today. It's been so much fun.
It has been. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm so glad that you were able to share your wisdom with my audience and your audience and the audience that's mixed on Facebook and YouTube, because we all need that reminder.
Yes.
We all need it. And I don't care what stage of life you're in, we need the reminder to be, and up-level ourselves so that we don't go to the end of our life wondering, what if?
Oh.
Yeah.
I know.
So audience, everyone out there, you listening right now, Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing. And we'll see you in the replays. And when I come back live at the end of July, when I have my doctorate done, we'll start another season of Mental Shift. So thank you so much, Pat, for joining me. Don't forget to go to her website. We've got it all over the threads. Go to her website, check out her book, and connect with her. And don't forget your free gift at agiftfrompat.com. So take care, everyone. Be the best version of you and be unapologetic. And until I see you again in August, be wonderful. And keep an eye out for the Women Who Rule 2022. I'll be one of the speakers on that event too, I believe. So take care, everybody. Be well. Take care. Mwah!
Mwah.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Good night, everybody.